You know what happens when it's the weekend? It's Michael Snyder and his Culture Blast Report. Hello, Michael, out there on the left coast.
Well, howdy, Alex, and greetings, America, and all the ships at sea from Hollywood, California, or thereabouts. And yeah, it's time for a little investigation into popular culture, specifically movies, a little talk about TV. And it's the doldrums still. I'm looking at this list of films I had to endure, and I'm rolling my eyes. You can't hear it, but I am. One of them, Resident Evil, the final chapter, the studios decided that the majority of critics were not invited to see. And that just parallels what happened with the Vin Diesel XXX film last week. And when this happens, the red flags go up. Let's put it that way. This is the latest in the series of video game-inspired films featuring Mila Jovovich, quite adorable and tough, as the super soldier Alice, who is trapped in a place called, clearly this was adapted from a video game, Raccoon City. Who's going to name their city Raccoon City?
Yeah, well, these video games never really turn into great movies. I mean, when are they going to stop trying?
I don't know. I mean, they top-loaded Assassin's Creed with Michael Fassbender and Jeremy Irons and Marion Cotillard, and it still stunk. That's
I'll tell you, it was so bad that when we went to go see that Creatures movie, I can't remember the full title now. They didn't show. No, it wasn't that one. It was another one. Oh no, it was another film we were going to go see. And girlfriend actually bought the wrong tickets, and she bought the tickets for Assassin's Creed. And there was no room left in the theater, so we could have gone over and watched Assassin's Creed. Instead, we ate the $41.
Oh, my God. Well, you saved yourself. You're often inclined to say, I just lost 90 minutes of my life. And in that case, you would have. So, yeah, Resident Evil, the final chapter, you're on your own with that thing. It's not even an official review here. But, let's move on to the movies I did have to endure. Let's start with A Dog's Purpose. Okay. This is based on a bestseller. It's inspiring, I'm sure, particularly for animal lovers and dog lovers. It's the tale of a devoted dog and the humans who share his love. And it comes from a terrific director, or a guy who has been a terrific director, Lasse Hallström, the guy who directed The Cider House, Rules, for instance. It stars Britt Robertson, who, pretty adorable young actress. She was in Tomorrowland, but don't hold that against her. She's spunky, she's cute. KJ Apa, who is Archie in the new Riverdale TV series. I guess he had to dye his hair red for that. Josh Gad, John Ortiz. How about this? Peggy Lipton and Dennis Quaid. So not too shabby. And we see the dog experience 5 lives and the people in them. And Gad provides the dog's inner voice's narration. So this dog keeps getting reborn and seeks the meaning of life. Man, this is heavy. And what can I say about A Dog's Purpose? But it's a dog. I swear, I left the theater itching like I had fleas. I expected so much from Hallström. His breakthrough movie was, oddly enough, the Scandinavian Award winner, My Life as a Dog. Maybe this is going to bookend a career, because this one is a real stinker. Maybe the career is over.
Well, it could be, but this movie's over before it began, because the PETA is protesting it because of the way they treated the dog in a drowning scene or in a water scene or something, in which they try to push him in the water, and the dog didn't want to go, and the video's out there, and so it may be hurt by that very fact.
It's a German Shepherd, one of the incarnations of the dog. Yeah, seriously. I keep thinking about the director. He did Chocolat, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, The 100-Foot Journey. Of course, he also did 2 adaptations of Nicholas Sparks films, Dear John and Safe Haven. Those are kind of pretty awful. Apparently he has a taste for treacle, and A Dog's Purpose lays it on. Oh my God, cute puppy antics. The antics are awe-inspiring, but man, the cheap sentiment got to me. Forget about this one, and particularly when you hear about the PETA issue, it doesn't make me even try to modify my opinion. Ouch. Okay, Gold. Gold is inspired by a real-life story, fairly renowned, about a Canadian prospecting company and a gold rush in Borneo. but they make a few changes here in the interest of the movie. It's a strange mix of true crime caper and American dream fodder, telling the tale of a guy named Kenny Wells. I guess this is a fictionalized version of the character in Canada. This guy is a professional prospector whose Nevada mining company, which was once run by his father, it's on the skids. So when he hears about what might be the biggest gold strike in history, he and his tipster geologist superstar head into the Indonesian jungle. Needless to say, an American trying to mine gold amid the political unrest of Indonesia is a situation that screams trouble. The original situation took place in the 90s. It's been a while. And I'd like to go into the real events. I thought this was a pretty fascinating setup, even though it was a little outlandish. But the real draw here, whether it's fictional or not, is Matthew McConaughey in full good old boy slickster mode. Ultimately, he's the best thing about the movie, which has a number of dead ends, not to mention a dead end wherein we want to know how things played out for the real-life characters in the story, but never find out. As it happens, the lead character in this docudrama, if it is indeed close to the actual events that inspired it, is not the nicest guy in the world. He's a man trying to make a buck, no matter what it takes, which reminds me of the story of Ray Kroc as told in The Founder, which is an actual docudrama that tries to reproduce events that really happened and stars Michael Keaton as the man who built the McDonald's empire. The Founder is a better movie than Gold, but I'll still recommend this for home video in particular, due to McConaughey and this amazing, albeit convoluted, caper. He's a treat as the paunchy, balding, desperate businessman Kenny. Edgar Ramirez is less charismatic as the geologist, and Bryce Dallas Howard is kind of bland and unrecognizable as Wells' girlfriend. But I liked Gold. Corey Stoll, Bruce Greenwood, the Stacy Keach is in the film. It's entertaining, and a lot of times entertainment is enough to carry me through. And I guess by comparison to A Dog's Purpose, it really seems like a hit. Okay, how about a movie that really was worth your time, despite the presence of subtitles? It's called, and stick with me on this, it's called The Salesman. And The Salesman is a dark tale and a really fine and frankly disturbing look at life in today's Tehran. As a young Iranian couple, both actors have to relocate to a new apartment when a construction project near their old apartment ravages that building. And as it happens, even though it's Iran, there are, of course, arts and culture, some, I suppose. And the husband and wife are appearing as the leads in a modest Iranian production of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, which has been sanitized to an extent for Iran's cultural sensibilities. And, of course, they have to deal with the government's censors. And then the production is endangered when they have to deal with problems initiated by the tenant who lived in the apartment before they moved there. Some horrible incident, it just comes out of nowhere, and soon the husband is caught up in a crusade to set things right, including the marriage, which has been undermined by these circumstances beyond his control. Now, I mean, the plot is intricate, and it's also a little contrived, but the vicarious experience of being in the grimy, desperate setting and this repressive social milieu is incredibly vivid. And the actors, starting with Shahab Hosseini and Tarena Al-Dusti as the husband and wife, they're fantastic. I can barely pronounce their names. My bad. But they are wonderful. It's been written and directed by Asghar Farhadi, who won a foreign film Oscar for a movie called The Separation. And honestly, The Salesman is a fine, fine film. And again, subtitles, so, hang in there. We'll wrap up with The Daughter. And The Daughter is pretty wrenching stuff as well. It's adapted from Henrik Ibsen's The Wild Duck. And the writer-director Simon Stone sets that story in rural but modern-day Australia, specifically scenic New South Wales, kind of the Aussie equivalent of the American heartland, the part with mountains and lush forests and streams. So this is how it goes. After 15 years away, Christian, played by Paul Snyder, an American actor, is the bitter half-American son of a wealthy local Australian mill owner, played by Oscar winner Geoffrey Rush. He's visiting his father on the occasion of his dad's second marriage. The bride-to-be is a younger woman and Dad's former housekeeper. Meanwhile, Christian reconnects with his best buddy from school days. That guy worked at the mill but was just laid off, so he's worried about fending for his lovely, devoted wife, played by Miranda Otto, who you may know from the Lord of the Rings movies, their smart-as-a-whip teenage daughter, and his retired ex-con father, played by the great Sam Neill, most recently in Peaky Blinders for American audiences. It's pretty dark, downbeat stuff with tragedy lurking under the surface and a palpable sense of doom. In other words, the Henrik Ibsen vibe is captured, as is A Wild Duck. It ain't fun, but it works as family drama and a slice of misery. The Daughter. So it's kind of a down weekend. Let's admit it. What do you got?
But nothing much. Nothing really. I watched Riverdale, and I thought there's enough there to bring me back again. Meanwhile, I am taking off my DVR Arrow and Flash. I just think these shows have just absolutely tanked. And Supergirl is kind of hanging in there.
Legends of Tomorrow and their George Lucas episode, I love that. I was entertained.
Well, I felt that was the worst episode they've done in a while. So at least two of those shows on the CW are off my list now because it just wastes my time.
There's hate watching,
Well, no, it's not the hate watching. These are shows that I liked, and it's disappointing that they, it could be that Greg Berlanti, who's the producer of these shows, now has literally half the schedule on the CW. He produces 5 shows. And I think when you're doing that much, something's got to suffer.
He also does the one Blind Spot on NBC, believe it or not. I mean, the guy has to be overextended. Either he's a great delegator, actually, from what you're saying, because of the quality dropping, maybe not so great a delegator, or is spread too thin. So, I enjoyed the Legends of Tomorrow episode. I thought it was kind of campy and over the top, as that show often is. But, man, Flash disappointed me this week. I was like, why am I even watching this?
That's exactly how I felt. And the same thing with Arrow. I mean, maybe these shows need to be put to sleep or handed over to somebody else or whatever. Riverdale, I think, is an interesting experiment, and let's see what happens with it.
For those who don't know, it combines the traditional Archie Comics characters and settings with a sort of Twin Peaks style mystery and your basic teen angst CW show. I'm going to give it a chance. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's Archie. And no spoilers here, although I may spoil it for you. Remember Miss Grundy, the teacher, the ugly teacher in Archie Comics?
With the snaggletooth, that one elderly woman?
Well, now she's really hot and fucks students. So,
oh, my God. Now, what's Mr. Weatherby doing? Watching? That's the principal from the old Riverdale High. But, hey, I'll be honest with you. You're going to laugh. I'm a comic book aficionado, so I take great umbrage when they screw things up like The Flash. Yeah. But I also have found that they have done a kind of modernization of the Archie comics, and some very talented comic book creators led by writer Mark Waid are doing these comics, and they're actually terrific. They're really entertaining, funny, sharp, and true to the original source material. I'm curious about this, and I'll jump in. Maybe there's a mini Archie revival going.
There's something there. There's something there, and I always hated Archie comics. I never was a big Archie fan because it was always a wimpy comic. But this thing it's taken the whole thing and turned it on its head, and it could turn into something pretty good.
Well, cool. Yeah. Well, let's give it a shot then. I guess that's it until next week. I wish I had a little more ammo here, but at least the 2 movies from overseas were pretty decent. And we'll be back next week with more reviews. I'm available on Twitter if you want to check in with me at Culture Blaster, and on Facebook at the Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page.
Okay, and I voted this week for all the SAG stuff, so we'll see what happens on Sunday. See you next week, Michael.
Yeah, buddy.
And there's more GABNet coming right up.